Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new edition of Driving Perilously, the show in which we turn on the radio, talk about what it is that's going on, what it is that's going on. Let's see what's going on. Well, gotta turn it quick so I don't get a copyright strike. Let's see what else is going on. Okay. So speaking of driving perilously, I just witnessed a truck beep at a car. Almost hit him. Didn't quite hit him. This is one of those roads that has changed over the decades here in sunny South Florida. It used to be much smaller, so people had much bigger yards. So when they bought their house, they had like a whole lot of room to park. And then they watched as the road got bigger, and now to get into their driveway, they have to pull off this huge highway instead of just pull into their driveway. So the roads have changed. The developments are going up everywhere. Tall buildings are going up in places where there didn't used to be anything higher than single stories. Our cities here in South Florida are quite different than cities in a lot of other places where they start building up a lot, decades ago. We just kind of spread out. Like downtown Orlando is really small, but the greater Orlando area includes, several counties. So it's just a different way of building. Instead of building up, we spread out. So we've got lots of small roads that became wider roads, lots of places where there weren't any buildings above 2 stories that are now becoming 5 or 6 or 10 stories. Lots of traffic. Lots of people are fleeing the ridiculous constraints they put on their economies to come here and try to put them on here because they don't realize that's why they left. Anyway, that's a little far afield because people think they come here for the weather, but it's more than just the weather. Florida's always been kind of the Wild West, but of course it's not in the West, it's in the South. And it's not really in the South because so many people here are from the North. So half of Florida is Dixie and half of Florida is transplanted people who are not Dixie-like. So it's an interesting place. Lived in Florida my whole life except for 1 year. And when I moved out of Florida, the 2 things that I really noticed were sweet tea and hay. And I don't mean H-A-Y, I mean H-E-Y. And looking back, it's really hard for me to realize that those 2 things would have been revolutionary to an 8-year-old. But to my 8-year-old self, a Georgia person came up and said, hey, and I didn't know they were saying hi or hello. They said, hey, and I'm like, hey? So could it really be that here in sunny South Florida, people didn't say hey, meaning hi, meaning a greeting? They didn't say hey? Or I had never noticed before and I was 8 years old. Now, both of those things seem almost impossible to believe. But until people started saying hey as a very common first word greeting, it wasn't common. So did that really happen around the time I was 8? People didn't say hey, meaning hi or hello. And the other thing that struck me was sweet tea. So now every single restaurant might have sweet tea, but to my 8-year-old self, getting iced tea that was already sweet, and I mean really sweet, was new. So what? I never talked before I was 8? I never had iced tea before I was 8? Hard to believe. But to the 8-year-old, those are the two things. People saying, hey, instead of hello or hi. And people are drinking sweet tea. And speaking of driving perilously, that was nice. So, what's going on? What's going on is, it is a sunny day here in sunny South Florida. We have crossed over past the summer humidity and rain pattern, which was a little weird this year. There's a lot of times in Florida where it rains at 4 p.m. every day. But it was a little different this year. Sometimes it rained all night. Sometimes it rained, a more indefinite weather pattern. So here we are. I'm headed south in my career. Things are heading more south. Things in Broward County now. Not too much in Miami, but a little bit. And I've got two irons in the fire. One is playing a character that's deliberately not a 20-year-old. And the other is caroling, which can be any age. So I would say both of those are nice opportunities. Who knows where they'll lead? Who knows what's next? But this will get me through the end of this year. So we're in that part of the year where Halloween has happened and people are tiptoeing into Christmas. So Mariah Carey is defrosting, and some people think it's too early for that, and some people think it's right on time for that. But we're in that in-between holiday transition time where some people think we have gone into holiday season because that starts with October 31st, and some people think, no, the year can't have gone by so quickly. No, it's not almost Thanksgiving. No, there's no way. And we've got the competition between the pumpkins and the mint. So I noticed that Starbucks has a caramel and creme brulee emphasis. That's a nice compromise between the pumpkin spice, cinnamon, and the minty Christmas stuff, is to go with caramel. And of course, chocolate is good for us all the time. So this year I had the opportunity to have pumpkin spice delight at McDonald's quite a bit. 99-cent iced coffee in the app. It's really a good flavor. It's a little more complex than just cinnamon in your coffee. It tastes like a baked good. It's got some vanilla in there. It's a well-rounded flavor.